I'm Liyana Hassanel, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Teoh Beng Hocks' death, a dark episode. MACC apologizes to family. And police take over leadership of National Scam Response Center to act swiftly on victim complaints. The headlining story. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is prepared to provide a goodwill contribution to the family of the late Teoh Beng Hocks in support of his child's welfare and educational needs. Its Chief Commissioner, Tan Sri Azam Baki, also conveyed his sympathy over the tragedy and extended an apology to the family for the hardship they have endured over the past 16 years. In a statement on Wednesday, Azam said the MACC acknowledges the findings of the various investigations conducted into Teoh's death since 2009. These include the Royal Commission of Inquiry, RCI, in 2011, the Court of Appeal's decision in 2014, as well as the most recent investigation by the Royal Malaysia Police, which was classified as requiring no further action, NFA, by the Attorney General's chambers. Although the latest investigation did not uncover sufficient evidence to charge any individual under the law, Azam maintained that the anti-graft agency took a very serious view of the incident, which occurred at the Selangor MACC premises on July 16, 2009. He added that the tragedy has had a profound impact not only on the deceased's family, but also on all MACC personnel and the nation as a whole. Azam also noted that the MACC has implemented numerous reforms aimed at strengthening safeguards for individuals involved in investigations, including the establishment of a ground-floor witness interview room and the installation of high-tech closed-circuit television, CCTV cameras, at strategic locations. Body-worn cameras are also used during investigations to document operations and ensure the integrity of investigating officers. In 2015, Putrajaya paid 600,000 ringgit to Teoh's family, as well as 60,000 ringgit in legal costs as part of a settlement to a civil suit filed by the family. The family had named the government and 12 others in the suit for negligence over his death. Now, at a media conference in Kuala Lumpur on Wednesday afternoon, the family of the late Teoh declined to accept the MACC's apology. Instead, they maintained their demand for justice over the death of the former political aide. His sister Liyana said the family is not seeking compensation, adding that a previous offer by the Attorney General's chambers for additional compensation in 2022 was also turned down. The 269th meeting of the Conference of Rulers at Istana Negara on Wednesday discussed the appointment of judges to the higher courts as well as other issues, including national security. Also addressed was the proposal to ban vaping. Keeper of the Ruler's Seal, Tan Sri Syed Daniel Syed Ahmad, stated that the meeting was chaired by the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah. In a statement, Syed Daniel confirmed that the council discussed the appointment of top judges, including the Chief Justice. Also discussed were the appointments of the Chief Judge of the High Court of Sabah and Sarawak, as well as the President of the Court of Appeal. The council was also briefed on security matters by Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Ismail. Meanwhile, the National Defence briefing was delivered by the Armed Forces Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jafar. The council also took note of the proposal to fully ban the sale and use of vape products. Also presented were the legal opinions from the 126th and 127th meetings of the Muzakara Committee of the National Council for Malaysian Islamic Religious Affairs. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim personally welcomed the arrival of the rulers attending Wednesday's meeting. Among those in attendance were the Raja of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Jamalulail, the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, the Sultan of Kedah, Al-Aminul Karim Sultan Salehuddin Sultan Batli Shah, and the Yang di-Pertuan Besar of Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir. Also present were the Tengku Mahkota Kelantan, the Tunku Temenggong Johor, and the Tengku Arif Bendahara Pahang. The meeting was also attended by the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri of Sarawak, Melaka, Sabah and Pulau Pinang. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has called for urgent and comprehensive reforms to public sector governance as well as service delivery systems, stressing the need for greater efficiency, transparency and integrity to enhance Malaysia's business environment. In a social media post on Wednesday, Anwar said these reforms are critical to sustaining national prosperity, strengthening investor confidence, and ensuring that the well-being of the people remains at the core of the country's development agenda. The Prime Minister stated this after chairing a National Physical Planning Council meeting, where he reviewed key development proposals involving land use planning and state structure plans under the Town and Country Planning Act. His call comes on the heels of Malaysia's sharp improvement in the IMD World Competitiveness Ranking 2025, climbing 11 places from 34th to 23rd, the country's highest position in 5 years. The Royal Malaysia Police PDRM has officially taken over the leadership role of the National Scam Response Centre, NSRC, from Bank Negara effective immediately. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail confirmed the move as part of an urgent effort to tackle the growing threat of online fraud and financial scams nationwide.
Jadi 2 minggu lepas, kita telah membentangkan kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri, pihak polis menawarkan untuk mengambil peranan sebagai peneraju utama. Perdana Menteri bersetuju, jadi bermaksud National Scam Response Centre kini diterajui oleh pasukan polis.
Saifuddin said this after attending the Home Ministry's monthly assembly in Putrajaya on Wednesday. He explained that the police will assume full control of NSRC operations, including managing the 24-hour 997 hotline. Currently, NSRC receives around 500 calls daily, with reported losses amounting to 1.6 billion ringgit, based on the latest data from the National Social Council. Additionally, the government intends to create 139 new positions at NSRC and relocate the operations centre from Bank Negara to a new facility. Meanwhile, the transfer of the NSRC under police control has received strong backing from non-governmental organizations, NGOs. They believe the move will enable the police to play a more effective role in tackling scams, citing their ability to operate around the clock and act swiftly on complaints. According to Alliance for Safe Community Chairman Tan Sri Lee Lam Tai, with the police taking charge of the NSRC, the financial impact on victims can be significantly reduced and scam operations can be disrupted more effectively. This approach not only minimizes losses, but also boosts public trust in law enforcement's ability to protect consumers from cybercrime.
And if they receive, any complaints, they can take immediate action by referring to the other stakeholders, like, for example, the telecommunication companies, the banks, and so on, to ensure that coordinated action will be taken against those who are responsible.
Malaysia Cyber Consumer Association Chairman Dato' Ahmad Nordin also welcomed the move, noting that the police have full authority to act under all laws to protect the public. He also emphasized that with scam cases continuing to rise, there is a need for a holistic, multi-agency approach to combat the threat effectively. In addition, he called for stronger public awareness campaigns to help Malaysians better understand how to protect themselves from falling victim to scams. Police have confirmed that several individuals had taken part in activities that involved nudity during the EHHATI marriage motivation program held at the IDCC Convention Centre in Shah Alam, Selangor last year. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Hussein Omar Khan said the incident was part of an event called Queen's Night, organised by the company. Hussein said investigations revealed that the nude activities involved both facilitators and participants of the program.
Memang ada kegiatan kegiatan bogel lah, betul. yang berlaku dalam majlis itu paling kurang 4 individu yang terlibat dalam majlis itu yang melakukan aktiviti endegan itu.
2 packages were offered for the program. One was worth about 6,000 ringgit and the other was tagged at about 9,000 ringgit. Police have seized various items used between September 27th and 30th last year, including liquids that were served as drinks during the event. The liquids have been sent to the chemistry department to determine if they contained any prohibited substances such as drugs. Police have also identified 50 participants from the program and have called on them to come forward to give statements. Earlier, the founding couple of the program, along with their child, were among 6 individuals remanded for 3 days in connection with the case. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code, as well as the Minor Offences Act. At the same media conference, Hussein revealed that Bukit Aman Police has busted a drug syndicate, which used apartments and condominiums in the Klang Valley and Pulau Pinang as heroin storage facilities. In the raid on July 12, 47.5 kilograms of drugs worth more than 4 million ringgit were seized. Hussein said 3 local men aged between 47 and 55 were also arrested during the raid. The syndicate is believed to have been active since early this year. Also seized in the raid were 6 vehicles, including 2 motorcycles. The seized items were worth 166,000 ringgit. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, which carries the mandatory death penalty or life imprisonment and whipping upon conviction. Further investigations are ongoing to track down the remaining members of the syndicate. The Producer Price Index PPI rose by 0.3% last year, a rebound from a 1.9% decline recorded in 2023. This growth was mainly driven by strong performance in the agriculture, forestry and fisheries sectors. The Statistics Department reported that the agriculture, forestry and fisheries sector rebounded with a nearly 8% increase, reversing a 13.8% drop in 2023, mainly driven by a 14% jump in permanent crop cultivation. The utility sector also grew, supported by gains in electricity, gas and water supply indices. In contrast, the mining sector contracted by 2%, while manufacturing posted a slight 0.3% decline. Automotive industry players are hoping for consistent policies in the upcoming 13th Malaysia Plan. Such policies are crucial to support Malaysia's aspiration to become ASEAN's automotive hub.
Minimize the subsidy impact to the government. Definitely, that's what I think they will be looking at also. So we have to work together in terms of to balance that impact.
Government is quite clear on getting Malaysia to be the central production hub for the ASEAN region. So I think in terms of incentive, customized incentive policies that favours that will be much more welcome by OEMs so that they can plan over the next 5 years to be where we aspire for the region, especially the automotive hub.
The government is also targeting electric and hybrid vehicles to make up 15% of total industry volume TIV by 2030.
Consistency is very important for any OEMs to plan a long-term program, any models, because at the end of the day, if you decide within the 5 to 10 year period and then suddenly you change, that changes the whole ballgame and for the whole of the system.
The 13th Malaysia Plan is set to be tabled in Parliament at the end of this month. U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he has reached another tariff deal, this time with Indonesia. Trump said he had agreed to lower tariffs he had threatened on goods entering the U.S. from Indonesia to 19% in exchange for what he called full access for American firms. This is significantly below a 32% level the president earlier threatened. President Prabowo Subianto described it as marking a new era of mutual benefit with Washington. As part of the deal, Trump revealed that Indonesia has agreed to purchase $15 billion worth of American energy, $4.5 billion in agricultural products, and 50 Boeing jets. Badminton coach claims trial to causing death. This and more after this breather.
Kerja kita belum selesai.
Tanyalah Ustaz minggu ini, Isnin deritamu bahagiaku. Selasa Al-Fatihah dan martabatnya. Rabu solat sunat pelengkap ibadah. Khamis surah Al-Qasas ayat 29 hingga 35. Jumaat barah akidah. Sabtu cemerlang berpandukan Al-Mu'minun. Ahad iman dan praktis. Tanyalah Ustaz, biar tahu jangan keliru di TV3 dan TV9, stream juga ditonton.
Sofia, makan durian tak?
Makan.
Apa pilihan awak? Durian kampung ke durian kahwin?
1001 masalah, sakit lutut, pelbagai faktor, kecederaan, penyakit kronik dan kegemukan.
Terperangkap dalam kereta yang tenggelam, ketahui cara menyelamatkan diri.
Isu anjing liar berkeliaran di kawasan kediaman membimbangkan. Bagaimanakah langkah untuk menangani?
Dan tarif 25% dikenakan Amerika Syarikat terhadap Malaysia. Impak terhadap masyarakat.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi juga stream ditonton hanya di TV3.
Nak kongsikan sedikit panduan keselamatan anak ketika di luar rumah. Pastikan keadaan sekeliling, pantau pergerakan anak dan jangan biarkan mereka berkeliaran jauh daripada anda. Elakkan pemakaian barang kemas yang berlebihan. Yang terakhir, boleh bawa whistle bersama. Jerit sekuat hati atau tiup whistle untuk menarik perhatian orang sekeliling sekiranya diganggu atau merasa terancam. Dapatkan pelbagai informasi bermanfaat bersama Nona setiap Ahad jam 2 petang di TV3.
Nightline continues. The wreckage of the police helicopter that crashed into Sungai Pulai near Gelang Patas, Johor during a security drill last week is expected to be lifted on Thursday. The operation will be carried out once the riverbed assessment by the team of divers from the Royal Malaysian Navy and Marine Police is completed. The salvage operation was finalized during an interagency coordination meeting held on Wednesday at the crash site's forward command post. An on-site site inspection was also conducted at the scene ahead of the recovery operation, which is expected to begin as early as 8 a.m. The AS-355N police helicopter went down last Thursday during a fly-past simulation for the Mid-Satom 2025 multilateral nuclear detection exercise involving Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand and Singapore. All 5 crew members were receiving treatment at the Sultanah Aminah Hospital and were reported to be in stable condition, with 1 sedated in the hospital's intensive care unit. In Johor, a badminton coach who allegedly caused a fatal crash that claimed the life of a 2-year-old girl in May was charged at the Muar Magistrates Court on Tuesday. 26-year-old Ong Kai Wei claimed trial after the charge was read before Magistrate Susanna Mokhtar. The accused, who was driving an MPV at the time, was charged with causing the death of 2-year-old Ayesha Sofia Anwarudi, a passenger in the other car. The offence took place on the northbound North-South Expressway on May 26th. The court allowed bail at 5,000 ringgit and ordered the accused's driving license to be suspended until the case is concluded. The case has been set for mention on August 20th. The car carrying Ayesha Sofia and her parents was struck by the MPV driven by the accused, causing it to lose control and crash into a highway guardrail. As a result of the incident, Ayesha succumbed to severe injuries after 2 days in the intensive care unit at the Sultanah Fatimah Specialist Hospital. In Sabah, a woman was killed and 13 others injured when the pickup truck they were traveling in plunged into a 15-meter deep ravine in Lahad Datu early on Wednesday. The incident occurred at Ladang Permai at around 5:30 a.m. when the group was on their way to work. The vehicle is believed to have lost control before skidding off the road and plunging into the ravine. A total of 15 victims were involved in the crash, comprising 7 adult men, 7 adult women, and a young boy. The Lahad Datu Fire and Rescue Department reported that a team of 6 firefighters was deployed to the scene shortly after receiving an emergency call regarding the incident. Upon their arrival, all the victims had already been extricated by members of the public. However, one of the victims, identified as Kalma, aged 33, was confirmed dead at the scene. All injured victims were then taken to hospital for treatment. Paranormal investigator found dead with Annabelle doll. The details when Nightline returns.
Sobat Sofia, makan durian tak?
Makan.
Apa pilihan awak? Durian kampung ke durian kahwin?
1001 masalah, sakit lutut, pelbagai faktor, kecederaan, penyakit kronik dan kegemukan.
Terperangkap dalam kereta yang tenggelam, ketahui cara menyelamatkan diri.
Isu anjing liar berkeliaran di kawasan kediaman membimbangkan. Bagaimanakah langkah untuk menangani?
Dan tarif 25% dikenakan Amerika Syarikat terhadap Malaysia. Impak terhadap masyarakat.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi juga stream ditonton hanya di
TV3.
Tanyalah Ustaz minggu ini, Isnin Deritamu Bahagiaku, Selasa Al-Fatihah dan Martabatnya, Rabu Solat Sunat Pelengkap Ibadah, Khamis Surah Al-Qasas ayat 29 hingga 35, Jumaat Barah Akidah, Sabtu Cemerlang Berpandukan Al-Mu'minun, Ahad Iman dan Praktis. Tanyalah Ustaz, biar tahu jangan keliru di TV3 dan TV9, stream juga ditonton.
Wanita hari ini. Sayang tapi takut nak kahwin.
Takut terikat dengan tanggungjawab ke?
Cili banyak-banyak ni nak buat apa ya?
Jom buat sambal tumis sotong, sedapnya.
Minat dengan sesuatu tu boleh tapi
jangan sampai obses dan bawa masalah.
Penjagaan bersama selepas bercerai tu boleh elak tekanan untuk anak.
Demi kebaikan bersama, apa salahnya bertolak ansur?
Yana, kalau ada jodoh tu tak ke mana?
Kadang-kadang cari jodoh punyalah jauh padahal ada depan mata.
Semua jadi wanita hari ini TV3
dan stream ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
News from the foreign front. The Zionist regime on Wednesday launched rare airstrikes in the heart of Damascus, hitting the Syrian Defense Ministry headquarters as clashes in the southern Syrian city of Suwaida continued to flare. The attacks also struck the presidential palace in the hills outside of Damascus. The strikes claimed at least 1 person and left 18 others wounded. The recent attacks come after Israel threatened to increase attacks if Syrian government forces are not withdrawn from the south of the country, where there has been fighting between Druze and security forces. Since last Sunday, more than 30 people have been killed and over 100 others injured in clashes between the two factions. Over in Gaza, at least 21 Palestinians were killed in the latest carnage at the GHF 8 distribution center in southern Gaza, with most of the victims reported to have died in a stampede. Gaza's health ministry has disputed the allegation from the controversial U.S. and Israel-backed organization that Hamas was responsible for the incident on Wednesday morning at the site in Khan Yunis. It also claimed the Israeli army and the U.S. of deliberately committing massacres against the starving people in a systematic manner. 15 of the victims died as a result of the stampede and suffocation after tear gas was fired at crowds of 8 seekers. Meanwhile, the Zionist regime said it has created an army-controlled route through the Gazan city of Khan Yunis, the latest in a series of corridors to cut the strip into sections. In a statement, the regime said the corridor, called Magan Oz, stretches about 15 kilometers between eastern and western Khan Yunis, adding that it serves as a key component in achieving the decisive defeat of Hamas in Khan Yunis. The route further divides the south of the strip, in which large numbers of civilians are sheltering after being displaced from the north and center. The new corridor intersects with the Morat corridor, which cuts off Khan Yunis from the far south of the strip. U.S. paranormal investigator Dan Rivera died suddenly over the weekend during a tour featuring the infamous haunted Annabelle doll. According to local news reports, Rivera was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for a stop on the Devils on the Run tour when emergency responders were called to his hotel on Sunday night. The 54-year-old Rivera reportedly died unexpectedly after completing the Sunday leg of the tour, in which the group traveled across the country with the allegedly haunted Annabelle doll, visiting various sites. Firefighters and medics rushed to his hotel in Gettysburg following a report of CPR in progress on a male patient. However, by the time they arrived, the U.S. Army veteran was already dead. The exact cause of the death remains unclear, and an investigation into the case is still underway. Sports now, football. After weeks of hype, Harimau Malaya's debut at the Kafa Nations Cup in Tajikistan from August 29th to September 8th has been called off. Head coach Peter Chklamowski said changes to match the schedule, which fall outside the FIFA window, along with logistical and budget challenges, made it impossible to assemble a full-strength squad.
And I'll never want to compromise the players. And I want to be at full strength. You know, I wanted to go into this tournament and be going there to win the Kafa Cup. The way the fixtures got released a few days ago, it's a little bit difficult for us to do that. We have to respect the clubs. You know, we've got players in Spain, Colombia, Argentina. You know, it's difficult for those players to get there.
According to FIFA's 2025 calendar, no international fixtures are scheduled in August. However, the first 4 Kafa Cup matches, including Malaysia's game against Tajikistan on August 29th, were set during this period. Malaysia's withdrawal is seen as unfortunate, as it means missing the chance to face top Asian teams like Iran and Tajikistan. The national squad will now focus on arranging 2 high-quality friendly matches during the FIFA international window in September. Moving on to badminton and the 2025 Japan Open. It was a bright day for Malaysia, with 6 out of 9 national representatives advancing to the second round of the Super 750 event on Wednesday. In men's doubles, independent shuttlers Ong Yu-sin, Teoh Yi pulled off one of the biggest upsets, outclassing compatriots and world number 2 pair Aaron Chia, So Woo-yik with a commanding 21-15, 21-15 victory. Their reward is a second-round clash with Americans Chen Zhiyi, Presley Smith. Also advanced into the second round were mixed doubles pair Chen Tangji and Toh Yi-wei, who cruised past Canada's world number 144, Kevin Lee, Josephine Wu, 21-15, 21-19 in 29 minutes. They had reached the semi-finals at the Indonesia Open in their last tournament and will next take on Indonesia's Jafar Hidayatullah, Felicia Pasaribu. In women's doubles, Pearly Tan and Amtina made a strong statement, beating Bulgaria's world number 16, Gabriela and Stephanie Stoeva 21-16, 21-14. The duo, fresh off a new 4-year deal with BAM, will face Taiwan's Se Pei Shan and Huang Enzu for a place in the third round. The other Malaysian pairs through to the second round are Hu Pang Ron, Cheng Su Yin, Go Sun Huat Siobhan Lai, and Man Wei Chong, T Kai Woon. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we go, let's enjoy some beautiful visuals highlighting marine biodiversity from around the world. With that, I'm Hassanel. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.